Okay, so you've played with looking at the dimensions and determining whether or not the multiplication can take place. So now we're actually going to do the multiplication itself. And so the question is how do you multiply matrices? Well, it's a little tricky on it, and it does take a little bit of work. So let me just read through here what it says. The elements in the nth row and the nth column of the matrix AB is the sum of the products. Okay, the sum of the products. Okay, of the corresponding elements in row M of matrix A and column N of matrix B. Now that sounds a little confusing. Okay, so let me show you how I look at it. First off, let's just start at the very beginning, and we're going to look at dimensions and make sure we can do this multiplication. So this is a 2 by 2. This is a 2 by 2. So my insides are the same. My outsides are my results. So I know my answer over here is going to be a 2 by 2. Now I'm going to make this a little big because I'm going to show you the work on the lines. Okay? So when I look at this first position, okay, this is the 1, 1 position. Okay? First row, first column. Okay? That's a key. First row, first column. So what I do is I take the first row and the first column, and it is the sum of the products. What does that mean? It means I'm going to take A times E, and I'm going to add it to B times G. Okay, see what I did? A times E, so first times first, first in the row, first in the column, second in the row, second in the column. And I'm going to add those together. Okay? So let me show you another one. So that's just the first of it. Okay, you're going to do 4 different positions. So I'm going to be over here. So this is first row, second column. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go first row, second column. And again, I'm going to multiply first and first. So in this case, it is A times F plus B times H. Okay, now do you need to put these out to the side here? No, I put those on there just so I know where I'm at. Matter of fact, sometimes I put them on the line and then I'll erase it when I actually put my result in there. Okay, let's try the next one. Okay, so I'm down here. So this is second row, first column. So I'm going to come over here to second row, first column. And again, the first in the row, first in the column. So that would be C times E plus the second and the second, D times G. Okay, and now I'm in row 2, column 2. So I'm going to come over here to row 2, column 2. I'm going to multiply and add. So I have CF. Let me see if I can make that just a little bit bigger for you. Take that off. Okay, so 2, 2. So I have CF plus DH. Okay. So let me make that a little bit bigger for you. Okay, and again, the rows in the column, my dimensions that I put out there in front of it, that's not necessary. I just think it helps me to know where I'm at in my multiplication. Okay, let's actually do some numbers now. Okay, so first example. So I'm going to look at this and always do your check first. Don't assume just because they give it to you that it works. Okay, so 2 times 2, 2 by 2. So the 2's are the same. That's good. So my answer is a 2 by 2. And again, I'm going to go ahead and show all the work on these. A lot of times I don't show all the work. We kind of mentally do the work, but I want to show you where all my numbers are coming from. Okay. And I'm going to change my colors here. Okay. So again, I am in row 1, column 1. So I'm going to do row 1, column 1. So I'm going to take -4 times 6 plus -9 times -5. Almost didn't leave myself room there. Let me see if I can make that just a little bigger for you. Okay? So that would be -24 plus 45, which is what, 21? Always check your math. Okay? Next one. Okay, I am in row 1. I'm going to put that up here. Row 1, column 2. Row 1. Whoops, sorry. Just did that. I said that. Row 1, column 2. There we go. And again, I'm going to write down what I'm going to do. So it's a -4. And if you want parentheses, if that helps you, you can do it that way. -4 times a -1 plus -9 times 4. Okay, and then just go ahead and work that out. So that's 4 minus 36, so a -32. Always double check my math. Okay? How's that going? It's tedious. Is it hard? No, it's not. Now, if you keep track of everything, but it is tedious. I will agree with that. And I'll show you how to put all this in your calculator. But here to start off with, I do want you to be able to understand where the numbers are coming from. And then again, like I said, I'll show you how to run it in your calculator. Add and subtract. It's probably easier to actually just do it by hand than it is to try to get the calculator. Multiplication, it's kind of a 50-50 whether you think it's easier in the calculator or not. Definitely when we get bigger, it's easier to do in the calculator. Okay, here we go. So we are on row 2, column 1. So I'm going to row 2, column 1. And so I'm going to have 3 times 6 plus -2 times a -5. So that's 18 minus 10, which would be 8. Like I said, double check my math. It's late evening after working all day, and I was just double checking with the answer key. It looks like I just messed that up. Oh, I did. See, check my stuff. Good thing I checked. Double negatives. How about making that a plus 10? How many of you caught that? Okay, need to give brownie points if you catch my errors. Okay, and then our last one here is we are in, again, second row, second column. Let's see if I can do this one without any errors. 3 times a -1 plus -2 times 4. So I've got a -3 minus 8, so a -11. Okay, and there is my answer. So again, not too difficult. More than anything else, just doing what I did. Don't mess up your multiplication, that kind of stuff, with your positive and negatives and so forth. What do you think? Should we do another one? Okay, let's do, I'll just go down to 11. I'm going to go do 11 for you. Okay, so number 11. This one is a 2 by 3. This is a 3 by 1. These are the same, therefore my answer is a 2 by 1. Okay, so again, it is 2 by 1. 2 by 1. There we go. Okay, and then there would be my results. Okay, and so this one's not going to require quite as much, but I am in my 1-1 position. So I am going to take my first row, first column. We'll only have one column, okay? And so in this case, I'm going to have a -7 times a -6. Hopefully I made this big enough. Plus 2 times 4 plus, maybe I didn't. Let me get rid of that. Plus a -11 times a -3. That does, to write it all down. Okay. Whew. So I've got 42 plus 8 plus 33. So 42 and 8's 50 and 33, so 83. Okay. And then we're going to do the next one. So this one is row 2, column 1. So row 2, column 1. 3 times a -6 plus -5 times 4 plus -2 times a -3. Okay, so -18 minus 20 plus 6. What is that? -32. Okay, final results. Now, I know some of you are thinking, do I have to write all that stuff down? You do here at the beginning. I do want you to write it down, maybe for a couple of them. But I do know you can probably keep some of that in your head or run it in the calculator pretty easy. Here's the key though, guys. If you run it in your calculator or in your head and you do something like what I did earlier where I dropped and I had that as an 8, not a 28, you lose the whole point. Because I don't know what went on in your head. I don't know how you got 8, not 28, so forth. If you show your work and then you don't get across, a lot of times I may not even take any points off or it's minimum points. So it's kind of like with everything else, you know, I need to be able to know that you know how to do it. If you screw up and I can't see where you screwed up, that's where you're going to get penalized on there. When it comes to the test, a lot of times I don't even have you do an entire multiplication, but I may just have you, like this problem here, I might, or maybe even like this one here, what I might ask you is for you to tell me what, like I might say, what's A times B, and then I might say 1, 2. So in other words, I only want what the answer is to row 1, column 2. So I would come up to row 1, column 2, my answer would be a -32. Okay, and you would have to show me how to do that. So what I'm really wanting is this work right here, okay, and this answer. So I don't ask you to do the whole thing, but just so, do you know if I ask for any position, could you do that position? Okay, I was going to also show you why they have to be the same. So I want to come back up here to this one here real quick, because here's just an example. Again, this is a 2 by 3. This is a 3 by 1. And so the question was, well, if this was not a 3, but if this was a 4, why couldn't you? Well, if you look at this, let's say this was a -4. We'll put a -4 there, and we elongate this out, okay? When I start doing my multiplication, I have a -7 times a -6 plus 2 times 4 plus a -11 times a -3. And then I've got this lonesome -4 here that doesn't have anybody to be multiplied by it. And so that's why your rows, okay, these numbers have to equal this number. If not, you can't do the multiplication because you're going to have an extra somewhere, okay? Just in the same way, if that extra had been on the here, you know, if I'd had another number here, maybe I had a 0 here. Again, when I went to do this, I would have a -7 times the -6, 2 times 4, 11 times the -3, and now I would need something to multiply 0 by, and there's nothing here, you know, so there's no matchup. Okay, so that's why it doesn't work. Okay, and that is multiplication. So good luck on working through those. And then there is one final question down at the bottom for you. And this is kind of looking at properties per se. And it is given matrix A and B at the left, so we're talking the ones over here. What they're wanting you to do is look to see, is matrix multiplication commutative? Does it matter what order I multiply in? Okay, so what you do need to do is you need to do the multiplication of it A times B in that order, and then B times A. Okay, what would probably be best is if you wrote A and B here, and then you come over here and you did the numbers for B and the numbers for A, and then did your multiplication, and just see if those are right. Okay, so we want a justification for those. Okay, see you later. Good luck on multiplication.